Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Disney Cruise Line Show. This week, we're going to talk about 7 reasons why Disney Cruise Line is better than other cruises. Coming up next. The Disney Cruise Line Show is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel. Receive an exclusive gift basket and a shipboard credit up to $1,000 when you let Dreams Unlimited plan your next Disney Cruise Line vacation. You get the same price as booking direct with Disney, plus you'll get the assistance of a Disney Cruise Line expert to answer all your questions and help make your next Disney cruise a magical one. Get a no-obligation quote at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show, coming to you from the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida. I'm your host, Pete Werner, joined at the table this week by my good friends, Dreams Unlimited Travel agent Sean Falk.
Hi.
And Dreams Unlimited Travel agent Kathy Whirling.
Hi, everybody.
Associate editor on The Diz, Ms. Denny Sunderly.
Hi there.
Joining us via Skype, Dreams Unlimited Travel agent Jennifer Lord.
Hello, everybody.
And back in the production nook, our producer, Mr. Craig Williams.
Oh, hey.
So this week, we are going to talk about 7 reasons why we think Disney Cruise Line is better than other cruise lines. We went back and forth. We probably could have come up with about 12 or 13, but we narrowed it down. And there are a lot of reasons. You know, we talk about Disney Cruise Line being more expensive, and it is, no question about it. But there are reasons for that, and I think these kind of highlight what they are. So let's start out with the staterooms. The size of the staterooms, period, are generally speaking larger on Disney Cruise Line than they are on most other ships. Now, again, Disney changed the game when they launched in '98. I want to say, very few cruise lines had a majority of balcony staterooms. Very few of them. So you look at some of these older ships on some of these other lines, and you'll see there are very few balconies on them. Disney kind of changed that game. Disney also changed the game with kids clubs. Cruises were not places for kids prior to Disney really coming into the market. So Disney also did a great thing with their staterooms. Again, focused on families. The split bathroom design. You had one bathroom with a sink and commode. You have another bathroom with a tub and shower, as well as another sink, allowing 2 people to get ready. But the tub in particular, real important when you have little ones. So, we were just on a Carnival cruise. It's a brand new ship. Mm-hmm. But that balcony we had two rooms on it. The balcony stateroom was nice, not as large as the balcony staterooms on Disney. Those balcony staterooms, generally speaking, about 240, 250 square feet, which is really big by.
And that's the low end there for Disney.
On the balcony, no. The balcony staterooms on the low end, it's about 200 square feet. They have some that are. They have some of the ones in the category 7s are smaller.
Right. Yeah, because they're like
the category 5s are about 240, 250.
241.
Because I was thinking the 4s.
Oh well, no. The category 4s, those are about 275 square feet.
Right. Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Category 4 is the family. The family veranda stateroom
yeah.
that has the Murphy bed that comes down, so it's slightly larger. But again, lots of options there. Inside staterooms that have the virtual porthole. If you're not familiar with that, it's the price of an inside stateroom, but it has a porthole that is actually a screen that is broadcasting a live picture from outside the ship. So it looks like you have a porthole, but they also add these little magical touches where Mickey comes swimming across the screen and stuff like that. And what was funny, and this is still true to this day, is that there are times those inside staterooms with the Magic Porthole, which are only on the Dream and Fantasy, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
There are times those are more expensive than the Ocean Views because they book up first. Everybody wants them. So, but what else about staterooms that would you point out?
Well,
I
go
would
ahead.
just say that's also like with the 5Es. There used to be like secret porthole rooms. Disney caught on real quick. The rooms that everybody wanted are now priced higher than other like Category 5 rooms. So if you think that you want one of the extended balconies, book early.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say also with the staterooms, it's a very minor thing, but I like the location. They're always very good about putting outlets and plugs and USB ports near the beds. It's a thing for whatever reason on other cruise lines. They just kind of put them over by the desk area, so you can't really have that. Whereas at home, like, you usually have that plugged in by your bed. So for me, it works out well, especially now that more people are using the DCL app and everything to keep in touch with everyone. It's good to have it there because a lot of times families have to split and have some of their family in one room, some in the other room. So it is good to know that that's there and more available to you.
For me, with the DCL staterooms, it really is like the reason why people love themed rooms at Walt Disney World or Disneyland. It's you can go on Royal or any other cruise line and it feels like you're at a Holiday Inn on the seas.
Yeah.
But then you walk into a Disney Cruise Line stateroom and it has those touches that you expect from a classic Disney resort. The TVs need to get upgraded very soon because they're all out of date, but you have on-demand movies while you can be sitting on your bed, choose any Disney movie that you want and just sit back and watch it. They really create this very Disney-fied environment for you that is comfortable, that while other cruise lines have nice staterooms, if you're a Disney fan, there is nothing like any other stateroom after you do Disney once.
And I agree with that for sure. I do tend to spend more time in my room on Disney cruises than I do on other cruise lines. It's more welcoming of somewhere to hang out. Whereas, when I do Carnival or whatever else, I'm just kind of like, this is just where I sleep. And then the rest of my day, I'm not there. So
if you're there with extended family members, know that there are also adjoining rooms on Disney Cruise Line. But this is another thing you want to book early for if that's a really big concern of yours, because we've done it for, we've had Grandma and Grandpa with us. The 6 of us go when we go. And so you want to have those rooms that connect if possible. It makes life a whole lot easier. And but you do want to book early,
and you want to say that you want a connecting room, not an adjoining
connecting room. Yes, you're right. I did learn the difference.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I did learn the difference.
All right. Second on the list.
Fun thing about those. Oh, sorry. Those adjoining rooms or the connecting rooms is that you can open up the verandas outside too. And I think that's a really neat touch. That if you're adjoining, you can
make one big
pull the
veranda.
verandas open and have one big veranda, which is so nice.
It is.
All right. Second on the list, food offerings. Virtually all of the other cruise lines, I know Royal openly admits that they dumb down the food in their main dining room because they want you in their specialty restaurants. And this is true, I think, of all cruise lines except Disney. The level of attention that goes into, and I'll see, because it's been a while since I've been on the Dream. We'll see how it is in the Dream. I will tell you on the Wonder, been on the Wonder twice in the last year, and the food in the main dining rooms were phenomenal. Phenomenal. Restaurant quality food. And when you think that at every seating, they're serving between 900 and 1,500 meals, and they're able to get them out like that, that was not always the case. That was not always the case with Disney, but I can at least speak right now for the Wonder, that the food was very, very good. So you have, multiple dining rooms that are on the rotation. All of that is included. Palo, on the Wonder and the Magic, you have Palo. That is an additional charge. You have Palo and Remy on the Dream and the Fantasy. Those are additional charges, but Disney's not trying to push you into those because usually those fill up very, very quickly. So that is definitely one of the advantages, I think. You know, main dining room food, I haven't had main dining room food on any other cruise line better than what I get on Disney. I don't know if anybody disagrees with me on that.
I agree with that. Even last year, or I guess now it's been 2 years, so we did Viking, and I thought that Viking's definitely a high-end cruise line, and I thought that the food was very good. I thought the food was great, but I still thought it was around that same level that Disney.
On par with Disney, yeah.
Yeah, it was very close to Disney, but I think Disney still edges it out.
Yeah, I agree, because we had some meals on Viking that weren't that great.
Yeah.
Right.
But, Norwegian, especially Norwegian. Oh, God. Their main dining room.
Their main dining's terrible.
is terrible.
And dining on Disney is an experience. So when you're in those main dining rooms, there's an experience to be had. It's not just your meal. It's all the amazing touches that they put into the physical space that you step into. That is just so much, the environment changes. If you're on the Dream and on the Fantasy and you're downstairs at Enchanted Garden or Enchanted is it Enchanted Palace? No,
Royal
it's
Palace.
Royal Palace. That's it.
Royal Palace.
The atmosphere changes, the lighting changes, the flowers open up. If you're in the Animator's Palette,
There's a whole show.
A whole show. So it's something that is it's an elevated experience. You're not just going there just to eat. It's a whole
And
experience.
it is also a thing where, other cruise lines, they might have two. Like even we just did Carnival, it was one of their biggest ships. They had two main dinings. Both of them looked pretty much identical. And there was just nothing special.
And,
it was
and
like
the food was very basic.
Yeah, the food is pretty basic. But even like the visuals of it, you're just kind of in it. I mean, it looks like a nice restaurant, that kind of thing. But with Disney, I mean, each restaurant, they do have like their Lumieres and Tritons that's just like a basic dining, but they try to have at least two that are an elevated look and an experience, and they offer something extra.
And worst case, Cabana's the buffet. You always have that top deck
and Cabana, and honestly, Cabana is
So good.
ridiculously good. Now, there was a time before Cabanas existed, before the Dream and the Fantasy were a thing, where Embarkation Buffet was usually one of the worst meals you'd ever have. I mean, the food was terrible, and the desserts, I used to joke around, they ran that stuff through the flavor vacuum, that they looked incredible, but they had no taste or flavor at all. All of that changed with the Dream and the Fantasy, and then they changed best practices on how they did the food on the Magic and the Wonder. So they've really, 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 really upped their game there. But, okay, so food, number 2. Number 3, soft drinks included. Disney does not nickel and dime you. Every other cruise line will nickel and dime you. And at least at your meals and on deck, your soft drinks are included. That includes coffee, sodas, things like that. Now, if you go to one of the bars and order a soda, that you're going to pay for. If you go to the theater and order popcorn and candy and soda, you pay for that as well. But in terms of the main dining rooms, and then up on deck, they have a drink station up on deck. All of that is free. Of course, the Cove Cafe, specialty coffees, which is the only place. And the coffee's not bad on deck. It really isn't. But the Cove Cafe.
It's fantastic.
And then as part of our gift basket, if you book through Dreams, you get a refillable cup. So that way when you're up on deck and you want to walk around with your drink, instead of having a small little plastic cup, you can fill up those cups and then fill up your refillable mug that you have. And then you have that lid. So safe walking around, holds a lot more. Just really nice. And even an extension to the soda. On top deck, you have free ice cream machines that you can go to anytime you want. And also in the free realm, get Mickey bars sent to your room. Don't pay $6 for them in a theme park. Bring a couple ones so you can tip the delivery people and have free Mickey bars sent to your room.
It also with room service and sodas.
We know what Craig does on cruises.
Mickey bars galore. But just a word about canned sodas. If you get canned sodas via room service, those are a charge as well.
Yeah, anything that's not on deck or in the dining rooms, you pay for those soft drinks.
I wanted to add, just because we were talking about nickel and diming as well, back to the restaurant side, you're not going to have to pay the extras to get like steak or lobster. These things. If you're at a meal where they're saying there's lobster tail, you can just order the lobster tail. You can order multiple lobster tails if you need to. So it is that.
Craig,
whereas with other places, you have to order it from the restaurant. It's a $20 extra, or it's $15 extra, or how much ever it's going to end up being.
And Craig and Corey both will tell you that if there are 2 or 3 things in the menu you like and you can't decide, just order all of them. And they'll bring them to you, and there's no additional charge for that.
It's not DCL if it's not a 10-course meal.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Next on our list, number 4 on our list, kids clubs. Again, Disney really raised the bar in the cruise industry for kids clubs and kids services. Others have attempted, Royal Caribbean in particular, on the Oasis, the Allure, the Harmony, have attempted to really come after that part of Disney and have failed miserably. No one's ever going to beat Disney at that game. They own that space, and they're going to always own that space. And these kids clubs are an example as to why. Yeah. We just did a show. I don't know if it's going up before or after this. We just did an entire show on the kids clubs.
Yeah, go back and listen to that and check it out.
Or wait for it. I don't know. We don't know what the release order is yet.
It's either in the future or the past.
And so, yeah, absolutely the kids clubs and the services offered for kids on these cruises, second to none. Anybody want to counter me on that?
Not a chance.
No, Sean, you look like you're being held hostage.
No, I'm watching you on the camera as you're talking. So I'm just looking off that way.
Like how fat I look. No. Oh, look what happened. He let himself go.
Oh,
yeah, I gained weight. I'll lose it again. Don't worry. All right. This is a big one, especially right now. You'll hear stories about norovirus breakouts on cruises. You rarely ever hear that about Disney. The reason for that is they consistently exceed CDC requirements for cleanliness. In fact, it is not unusual for a Disney cruise ship to get a perfect score of 100 by the CDC, Center for Disease Control, when they get inspected. These inspections are random. Disney never knows that they're coming. And the CDC is really, really stringent in their requirements. One of the ways Disney really does a great job of managing it, they don't give you really a choice when you're going into a restaurant. You have to wipe your hand. You have to wash your hands.
Yeah.
They're handing out hand wipes. I mean, they're literally like linebackers.
Yeah, you're not
these
getting
cast members, these crew members that will block you from going in.
They are, yeah.
That was something I found strange when I did Royal Caribbean. It's like, hey, we have this little machine here that'll give you some...
Use it, don't use it.
Yeah, and it's like, it's not like Disney where they like almost like knock you over,
you,
or, like, take your hand wipe.
Yeah.
And they watch. And I like that because it's like I know they're taking it seriously.
And when I say, especially in between sailings, every surface in every stateroom and every public area is being practically sandblasted clean. I've seen them. I've been on the ships when they're doing turnover, and it's crazy. It's great. Do not get in their way. Do not get in their way. They make sure because they don't know when the inspection's coming, and so it's not unusual. And I don't know that there are too many cruise lines. I don't think any cruise line gets higher scores than Disney does, and I don't know that there are very many ships that are grabbing 100% ratings. And again, it's not even every time with Disney, but more often than not, when you see the annual CDC report, there's Disney with another 100.
And sometimes you'll see on the Disney ships where they must have an inkling that somebody's sick or whatever, that like at the buffet, instead of you helping yourself, they'll close it down and have cast members
fix
your plate.
Serving you.
And again, maybe that cramps your style, but then I also know that I'm being thought of and, my safety is being...
Right, and that level of attention and service costs money. That doesn't happen for free. And so, again, all of these things cost money. All of these things cost money for Disney to do. And so it's not just, people say, oh, I can get Royal Caribbean for half the price. Well, yeah, you can, but there's a reason. And a lot of people don't stop and think about this stuff, which was why we thought this would be a good show. A good show to do.
And the kids clubs too. When the kids are going into the kids clubs, the first thing that they have to do is wash their hands, and the last thing they do is wash their hands on the way out. So they're washing their hands in and out with the kids clubs too.
And Disney was really smart with that because it's not a sink there for the kids to wash their hands in. It's this Dyson hand washer. So you put your hands in.
So cool.
And it does like the washing and everything. And it's like, I'm like, oh, that's really fun. I want to do that. So they make it appealing. Yeah. And again, it's those little details that we used to be very accustomed to at Walt Disney World that aren't anymore. The service level you get on Disney Cruise Line really should be on this list, and it isn't. So maybe we're going to make this 8 now because it's a service level unparalleled on any other cruise I've ever been on. And in fact, it's unparalleled to any experience I have at Walt Disney World. It's the way Disney service used to be back in the 90s. That level of attention to detail and that how do they do, that level of service that you say to yourself, how do they do that? How do they get these crew members to be so engaged? These people are working 16 hours a day, sometimes 7 days a week. And they get them to be so engaged and so on point with the guests. How do they do it? They keep them happy. Every single crew member I talk to says the same thing. They're wonderful to us. They treat us really well. And it's nice to be able to say that.
Yeah.
It's nice to be able to say that. All right, next on the list, caliber of entertainment. Now, I may take exception a little bit to some of this. I'm not a big fan of the theater shows that they do. We did see Frozen when we did Alaska on the Wonder, and that was wonderful. I'm like, okay, maybe this is better than I thought because I stopped going. Then he took me to see the Golden Mickeys. And I'm like, oh, no, never mind.
Oh, Katie doesn't like to go to the shows with me because I always go with a wad of tissues.
Of course you do.
And, when you get those Disney moments, I said I don't know if it was my first cruise or whatever, but they showed like Mickey was coming to the cruise ship was part of the show. And confetti came down from the ceiling, and I'm sitting there like, oh my God, Mickey's coming to the ship. I believed everything they were telling me. I don't know that you have to have, it just has that Disney heart to it. I did Royal Caribbean. I didn't come off the ship going like, oh, Royal Caribbean, where Disney, it tugs at your heart.
The good shows are really good. Like Villains Tonight is still very entertaining and fun. Like we've mentioned, the marquee shows, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, Frozen, and Tangled. Those are all Broadway. They are
Broadway level.
They could be on Broadway if they wanted to extend them out. So they're that good. And but then it really is stuff like Golden Mickey's has not aged well. You see it once, probably entertaining the first time, not so much after that. There is this one Disneyland one that Kylie and I came so close to walking out of the Fantasy. Like it was just so bad.
The kids who were graduating high school. Yeah, that's pretty bad.
But so the shows, they're hit or miss. But like I love if you're on a ship where they have O'Gills. They'll sometimes have like a singer songwriter in there playing, and like a lot of that specialized entertainment is usually amazing.
Yes, that level. And look, I want to be very clear. I think the cast members in these shows are phenomenally talented. I don't blame them. I blame Disney. I blame Disney for some of these shows. But Sail Away Party, some of that stuff, really, really good. A lot of fun stuff. Character interaction, you can't touch it. I mean, they're so accessible. Much, much more accessible on a cruise ship than they are in a theme park. And so, yes, I think from that, on that level, yes. You okay?
And there's entertainment all over the ship too. So not just the shows, but also, you know, the Marvel Day at Seas, the fireworks shows that you get, like we talked about, the sail away party, the pirate deck parties. Those are all so good, I think. And then a little bit we touched on with dining, but even the dining experiences I look at as an entertainment level that you're not going to get on any other, cruise line as well. So it's not just the shows, it's everything that all those entertainment features that they have.
Agreed. So there you have it. That's 7 things, I think. That was a total of
Can I just add the lifeguards?
Yes.
A lot of cruise lines don't have lifeguards. And Disney had an incident happen, and then they put lifeguards on the ship, and they learned from their shortcomings. So it's nice to know that Disney thinks of, kids and families when they're at the pool.
Well, there's never a question that safety it's obvious that safety is first priority on those ships. And I'm not saying that I feel that, the other cruise lines I've done are not safe or they don't put a premium on it. I think the difference with Disney is that it is a well-oiled machine in how it runs. It is so competently run. And you see that from the top down, whether you're talking about, the captain or the officers of the ship or the stateroom hosts or the servers in the restaurant or the crews that clean the deck and maintenance. It's just a well-oiled machine. And, that takes money. It's not just great management. It takes money to do that. So those are the reasons, the 8 reasons that we think Disney Cruise Line is better than other cruises. And that will do it for this episode of our show. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you again next week with another edition of the Disney Cruise Line Show. Have a great week, folks.